Hi, I'm Erick Voss, and Avengers Endgame is nearly upon us, and over the past year since Infinity War broke our hearts, the most intriguing mystery that I personally have loved losing my mind over is the question of Doctor Strange, and the assumption that he must have deliberately surrendered the Time Stone to Thanos, because the Avengers losing was necessary for the 1 out of 14,605 alternate futures in which they eventually found a way to win. I have explained some possibilities for Doctor Strange's secret plan before, but with some interesting new clues from the recent Endgame trailer, my weekly rewatch of all the MCU films, and a minor overdose of cough syrup, some of this is starting to align in a way that kind of makes sense to me, and I want to share this mental vomit with you because I love you. Spoiler warning in case I accidentally say something that ends up being right and it ruins your life. Okay, when you rewatch the moment Doctor Strange surrenders the Time Stone, notice that it is glowing. I brought this up before, but throughout the movie, the Infinity Stones give off a normal resting glow, but then they only shine brighter like this when they're being used. So many of us have speculated that Strange could actually be using the Time Stone in this moment. A few months back, a related theory blew up on Reddit from user Raoul Vij, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, that Doctor Strange might have put the Avengers in a time loop, the way he put himself in a time loop to wear down Dormammu. So just like how Strange confronted Dormammu an undefined number of times, dying an undefined infinite number of horrible deaths, his suggestion to Tony Stark about 14 million futures that he saw could refer to each time the loop with the Avengers ends with their failure and resets, giving them a new crack at it. So maybe the Time Stone glowing could mean this is a moment Doctor Strange began his spell with it, establishing the in and the out points for the loop. The Redditors singled out an unusual line back in Age of Ultron from Bruce Banner, right after Stark suggested installing Jarvis into the android body, eventually leading to Vision.
I'm in a loop. I'm caught in a time loop. This is exactly where it all went wrong. I know.
Now when I rewatched this scene closely, I actually got an even subtler detail that could be a game changer. I'll loop around to it in a bit. But could the Avengers be in a time loop that extends that far back in the MCU timeline? Well, the Endgame trailers have been playing some weird games with callbacks to past MCU moments. Some of the footage is a bit more obvious, shown for emotional context, while other old footage might have been tweaked with VFX to look new, which the Russos have admitted to doing. But in the most recent trailer, there was this odd bit of audio that I got from Tony Stark.
Where's the Avengers?
And what's weird is the Russo brothers lifted this exact same audio from Stark in a major scene in Age of Ultron.
We're the Avengers. We can bust arms dealers all the livelong day, but that up there, that's the Endgame.
Maybe it's just a coincidence that they pulled this relatively random phrase from the exact line that foreshadowed the title in the storyline of the Avengers Endgame film, or maybe the movie itself will revisit moments from Age of Ultron via a time loop that the Avengers are already in. And one key decision that they could have made differently in those days? Leaving the Mind Stone alone. Leave it alone! The Mind Stone was the first Infinity Stone Thanos was in possession of. He let Loki borrow it for a scepter to try to obtain the Space Stone. And the Mind Stone was the final stone Thanos acquired. The bulk of the Infinity War plot was centered around protecting and defending that stone in particular. And throughout the years with Vision, it's the one stone that the Avengers had the most control over. So look again at that Banner line.
I'm in a loop. I'm caught in a time loop. This is exactly where it all went wrong.
I know.
Notice how the editing weirdly jumps on Banner, shifting him from the left side of the frame to the right, without even cutting back to Stark for a reaction. It's kind of like an awkward hiccup, almost like a record skipping. You don't normally see this in film editing unless it's motivated by some deeper reason. Could that deeper reason be that this is evidence of a loop repeating? A second black cat glitch in the Matrix? And by Banner saying this is exactly where it all went wrong, maybe he's hinting that experimenting with the Mind Stone and birthing Vision set them on a path where they'd be even more vulnerable to Thanos. There is other evidence from the Endgame trailers that the Marvel characters could be reliving their histories in a loop, but first, thank you to our sponsor Skillshare for helping us make this video. Skillshare is an online learning community with more than 25,000 classes in design, business, technology, and more. Its premium membership gives you unlimited access so that you can join the classes and communities that are just right for you and your goals. Whether you want to fuel your curiosity, your creativity, or even your career, Skillshare is the perfect place to keep you learning and thriving. editing. I love breaking down subtle filmmaking details, and knowing what normal film editing looks like helps me identify when it's being subverted to try to convey some deeper meaning. I'm actually taking the Skillshare class Power Video Editing Premiere Pro in 45 minutes with Dun Liu. It's a great crash course for someone like me to pick up some tricks on how footage is assembled and edited into a narrative. Skillshare is also super affordable. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. So join more than 7 million creators learning with Skillshare. And as a special offer just for you guys, the first 500 of our subscribers to use the link in the description below will get a 2-month free trial. So it's definitely worth trying out. Just go to skl.sh/newrockstars11 or click on the link in the description. Okay, back to the other time loop evidence in the Endgame trailer. We spotted the Benatar departing what looks like the planet Morag, the abandoned planet that Peter Quill visited at the beginning of the first Guardians of the Galaxy to obtain the orb containing the Power Stone. But one thing I didn't talk about in my breakdown was this other planet behind Thanos' ship, the Sanctuary 2. That planet's surface kind of looks like it's in flames, and some are speculating that this could be Xandar, home of the Nova Corps in Guardians, where the Power Stone ended up being stored. Thanos presumably destroyed Xandar to steal the Power Stone before the events of Infinity War. Perhaps the smoky, debris-covered battlefield that the Avengers are confronting Thanos on in these Endgame trailers is actually the ruins of Xandar. That would explain why Thanos is still wearing his helmet. Remember, he took off this helmet after getting the Space Stone sometime later, and this could be why he still has to beam down to this planet's surface, because he doesn't yet have the Space Stone. This blue light beaming is how we see the Black Order beam down from their Q ships. So the Avengers could be earlier in the loop, meeting Thanos on the ruins of Xandar, trying to block him from getting his first Infinity Stone for his gauntlet, and just hoping the Mad Titan can be taken down without his fancy glove. Look, I know many of you may be saying I'm reaching. By the way, welcome to New Rockstars. We do a lot of that here. But we do know that Doctor Strange will have some role to play in Endgame, and that it will involve the quantum realm. And we can thank Tom Holland for that scoop.
He has the most difficult lines, though. Yeah. He has to talk about so much quantum realm stuff.
Just stuff.
And back in the Doctor Strange film, Strange actually briefly visits the quantum realm, a place in which, according to Hank Pym, time and space become irrelevant. And when Strange passed through it, the Ancient One's voiceover implied that the quantum realm was benevolent and life-giving. Now, the director of the Doctor Strange movie, Scott Derrickson, actually just tweeted something interesting, which, now that I think of it, technically makes this video a New Rockstar tweet down. Derrickson said that while editing Doctor Strange, he ran into Joe Russo, who pitched him the basic story for both Infinity War and Endgame. And Derrickson told him that if he could make the first movie work, the second would be effing incredible. Now, you can draw your own conclusions from what this means, but to me, this implies some coordination between the stories of Doctor Strange, perhaps best known for introducing the multiverse and time loops into the MCU, and Endgame, a movie that could be doing a lot with the multiverse and time loops. Add this to the other clues that we know about Doctor Strange and time loops throughout the MCU, and I think it's a very real possibility for Endgame. And if it isn't, it should be, right? Because time loops are fun. Groundhog Day, Edge of Tomorrow, Russian Doll. I actually assume that every movie I see is part of a grand time loop in which we're just seeing one of those loops. Just let me have my fun. Comment down below if you think the Avengers could be within a time loop, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss, and subscribe to New Rockstars for deep dives into everything Endgame related, even if you think time loops are too much of a stretch. Oh, heart attack. Hi, I'm Erick Voss, and Avengers Endgame is nearly a